Well, that was Florida Governor Ron DeSantis officially announcing his 2024 presidential run. The mainstream media, however, wasting no time criticizing him and his other GOP opponents. But has the media crossed the line? Let's welcome our political panel, political commentator Benji Irby, and also former Democratic Massachusetts Congressman Barney Frank. It's great to have both of you guys here this Memorial Day weekend. What did you make, Benji, of especially the comments that came out? I want to show comments first off from Vanity Fair. This is amazing. Here it says, Ron DeSantis will formally announce his 2024 bid with Elon Musk because apparently David Duke wasn't available. Wow. Benji, your reaction to that?
I mean, it's not a surprise. I mean, the left is always trying to smear whoever they don't like or whoever they don't support as being racist. And they also feel as though they own the opinions of black people because if black people don't support them, somehow we're not black or whatever. So none of that comes off as a surprise. It's very cheap. It's very much what Vanity Fair would do. It's in the lines of the type of reporting that Vanity Fair does.
You know what? What did you think, Barney? I mean, that really was astounding from Vanity Fair, Barney.
The answer is I disagree with it, and I think it was wrong. On the other hand, I don't think, frankly, it was as bad as running a commercial that shows Ron DeSantis theoretically eating pudding with his hands. The most vicious and
What does that have to do? Barney, eating pudding with his hands, what does that have to do?
That's the Donald Trump commercial about DeSantis. What I'm talking about is your double standard. In fact, the most denigrating rat-a-tat of negatives about Ron DeSanctimonious, as Trump calls him, have come from Donald Trump. So, yeah, there's a lot of unfair criticism from both sides. I disagree. I don't think you should show DeSantis eating pudding with his hands, and I don't think you should link him to David Duke.
All right, so let me bring in Benji to that, because you're not going anywhere with that. Benji, go ahead. I mean, that's crazy.
In other words, your double standard can't be attacked.
Well, it's a little different than saying David Duke. I mean, Benji, go ahead. Go at that one. Come on.
It is a little different, but I mean,
a little different, Benji. It's a lot different.
They're in a race together, so of course he's going to say things that are going to disparage Trump and vice versa. I mean, that's a part of being in a political race. But as far as, comparing pudding to David Duke, I'm just not seeing where those things come together. And I don't know where Vanity Fair, which is not even like a black-owned magazine or a black publication, goes to bring in and evoke racism for a candidate they don't like. But this is what liberal publications do.
What did you make of Barney's comments about the pudding? I mean...
like I said, it's what's going to happen in a presidential primary. We all know the type of person that Donald Trump is. We all know how our politics are today. I mean, they were talking about, what's her name, the senator from Minnesota eating salad with the combs. I mean, whatever they can put out there, they're going to put out there. That's the nature of politics. But I don't understand how that is somehow a comparison to people comparing people to David Duke. I mean, it's just very cheap, unfortunately.
Yeah, it is a cheap swipe. And it seems to be also sort of this racial issue and this racial talk. Yeah, please go ahead, Barney, please.
Okay, first of all, Donald Trump is the leading person for accusing other people of being racist. There's at least a dozen that I can think of that he is accused of being racist. And I have to say, Donald Trump is much more representative of the right in America than Vanity Fair is of the left. I don't agree with Vanity Fair, but they are not representative of the left. And my point is that the most recurring criticism of DeSantis, pudding with his hands is just an example. DeSanctimonious, saying he's going to cut Social Security unfairly. Race is not the only issue. And by the way, I do not know any mainstream Democrats equivalent, certainly to Donald Trump, who have accused DeSantis of racism. My point is that you look at unfair criticism from the left and ignore unfair criticism from the right that is aimed at both sides.
Actually, that's not true, because there's a big difference between calling somebody dissanctimonious or disloyal, which has been sort of the... But then David Duke? I mean, give me a break. Go ahead, Benji. Benji, hold on 1 second. Let me get Benji in,
please. One magazine is not...
Yeah, but you make it sound like you're discounting that. You're discounting that. Go ahead. Benji, please respond if you could.
I think that we're all old enough to remember that Hillary Clinton in 2008 put out a picture of Barack Obama in African garb as to suggest that he was not born in the United States. That was actually the start of the entire birtherism movement, which a lot of people like to forget. So, I mean, people, they tend to get combative in primaries. This happened. This is not abnormal. I think putting fingers is actually quite light compared to what's been said about other people. And even if you look at Kamala Harris, our vice president accused Joe Biden of being a racist on a debate stage. I mean, these are primaries. This is how they go. I'm sure you've been in a few. This is what happens. I don't see what the big thing is here, and I don't see where comparing someone to David Duke or calling someone a racist is necessarily the best way to go.
Yeah, by the way, it's a terrible way to go. Both of you, thank you very much.